Today is the day. We've got both of our versions of Anubis. They have been finished. If you guys have been keeping up on the streams, then you would have already seen that we play tested the one that I'm about to show you. But I just want to kind of walk you through the finished versions of the map. Of course, we're going to continue to update them and keep them as polished as possible. Now we have the version 2, which is publicly available. You can go download this one right now. And then we have version 1, and they're just named backwards, don't worry about it. And that one will be publicly available sometime later on this week, and I'm going to be playtesting that one tonight on my stream. So if you guys want to check that out, you guys should come check it out. You know where to find me, twitch.tv/AustinCS_. Now with that being said, here's the changes to V2 of Anubis. This is going to be the change where Palace entrance has been moved to the back of the site. Now the reason that this is so good is because it allows for the rotates to come in a little bit easier, because instead of having to take the fight from here and then clear back sight and whatever, we can actually rotate in the middle of an execute, let's say, and we can easily fight. It also makes the retake a lot easier as well for this exact same reason. Now, because we've made the sight and the rotates a little bit easier, there is one downside to this, which is that you can't actually see B main from Palace anymore, which means that the fights are a little bit easier for B main, which is okay, because since the T's do have a slight advantage towards B main, we have made this change to increase the timing to Ebox as well. Now, this is one of the ones that I thought people would like more, but in playtesting, people have not enjoyed this one as much. The idea here is that the staircase has been moved from here to here. This does not change the A main timing in any meaningful way. It actually gives the T's, like, I think a 0.1 second advantage as compared to the other one, only because you don't have to go through the water to get the A main. And it does increase the time to get the E-box, which means that the CTs can get more established. They're going to be more comfortable. This peak is really strong for us still. And this is a little interesting. This is the part that people weren't enjoying. If you don't have the best spawn for E-box or for A main, you actually can't get across without the T's being here, or sorry, the CTs being here, which just means that you have to throw a smoke. Give and take. I don't think that that's a bad thing. I do see where people are coming from. I'm currently working on a solution to maybe fix this, but at face value, this is the change, and this is something that I think that people are going to learn to like, because having E-box be a little bit more safe, a little bit more established, means that this B main change with the Palace rotate, that is, makes a little bit more sense. And overall, I do like the feel of this. There is one more change that has been made, and that is to this pillar that's been added at A, but don't worry about this pillar if you think it's ugly. I agree with you. This was just an idea that we had, and that's the beauty of making maps and just coming up with ideas, is because if it doesn't work, well, we have the power to fix it. We don't have to wait for Valve or just hope that they listen. We can actually just change this. And in the other version I'm about to show you, we already did, and that will actually be changed in this version as well. So this pillar is a novelty. What you're looking at right now will not be here in a couple of days on either map. So enjoy. The problems with this pillar, and I'm only saying this just because I want to document it when I make my long form video, is that this pillar was creating quite a few off angles for post plants that I just wasn't anticipating. And it was just OP. Like for CTs, you would think that it would help, but it didn't really help as much. And every time I played here, I felt like they were getting out all over me, and I was getting overwhelmed. And again, like I said, once the post plant came in, these angles for the T's were very, very hard to deal with. I mean, just having to deal with this one right here for camera, the pillar was supposed to help people coming out camera, not hurt them. And as you can see, this was just hard, because I could just play anti and peek, or I can sit here and hold for half wall, or I can even stand here and hold for heaven. A lot of things were just not working with this pillar. I do think it's a good idea though, which is why I actually fixed it in the second version, or the first version. So V1 Anubis, this one is the one that's coming tonight on my stream, or if you're already watching later on down the road in a few weeks or months, it's up on, it'll be linked on my Steam profile. It'll be linked everywhere in the description when it's available. But for now, this is what we have. So I'm going to load in here, and the changes to V1 Anubis are not to anything that we just talked about. Instead, we still have the same E-box timing, which is fine. It's very hard to deal with this, which is something that we talked about many, many times in the original video that got so much traction. We said, oh, it's too easy to take E-box, and the CCs have nothing that they can fight for. In this instance, on the V1 change, this is the one that you would have saw and probably got excited about. This is the original CSGO version from 2019, Anubis B site. So we took the idea of this B main entrance being here. It's a little rough around the edges, and I need you guys to understand that I am not a Valve map maker, and neither is Cherry5, the person who's been helping me create these visions and bring them to life. So it's going to look a little bit rough, and Valve would obviously make it look more polished. We're simply giving you guys a map to playtest ideas. So don't worry about any of that. Instead, just worry about the idea. Now, what we have is the B main entrance has been moved. And like I said in the original video, there is no box here. There's no weird sight lines because it doesn't need to be here. And as you can see, because of the way that the timings work, the CTs actually can get out here and they can contest for B main, which gives the options to be able to do some weird stuff. Maybe we throw some smokes, maybe we're taking control, but more importantly, we're not getting overwhelmed off rip. Now, a couple of things do change with this because since pizza is gone completely, lineups that you already know will no longer work. So we have to change a few things. There will be new lineups, I'm sure. Obviously, the smoke would still get the job done. It's just not ideal. There's a couple of things that we'd have to change going into this map, for prep, like T-sides would have to change smokes and whatnot. Overall, though, I really like this. This angle right here is something that is really fun. I think that this would be such a good angle. Like in pugs, you feel really confident just peeking this one, and there probably will be an opera there. Maybe we get those smokes here. Who knows? There's a lot of options. There's obviously still this angle that we had in the other version as well, and then we still have this half wall. I'm playing with the idea of removing this one like it was in the CSGO version, but I haven't decided yet. And of course, because the B main entrance has been moved, so has this pillar. Now, the idea with this pillar, like I said again, is to obstruct vision from E-box to B main, just to make it a little bit more annoying. I think that this first change is a little bit, I'm undecided, right? Where I like the pillar here because you can use the pillar to help defend E-box because the timing is still really strong, but at the same time, there are some angles that I think are more than likely unintended. And what I mean by that is, like, I didn't want this angle to exist and I didn't, expect it to, but it does. So I feel like moving the pillar back maybe to here might be an option after playtesting, of course. Maybe in playtesting it goes really well and it's just the best spot for it to be. I'm not sure, but again, that's the idea. And again, if you want to be involved in playtesting, all you have to do is be a sub to me on Twitch. And when we run the test live, you can join in. So make sure you guys join my Discord so you can see when I'm doing that. And that brings us to the other change, which of course is, last thing, since I'm one taking this, I forgot that this angle exists now and it's really strong. I'm a big fan of the idea of having these kinds of angles. It does make this pillar feel a tiny bit redundant because there's not really anything that, like, before you were using this pillar to kind of hide, but I feel like you can get easily overwhelmed here. But at the end of the day, it's a pillar. These are the kind of things that happen. It's a risk of playing here. And with the palace entrance being moved back to here, it means that we don't have a rotate easily ready to fight. It could be that maybe we need to make both changes at the same time. Maybe the palace change and the B main change go hand in hand, because then, and maybe it makes sense because then I can still see this angle from palace. And actually it could be a world where we make more than one change, but we combine them, right? I don't think that we should make the canals change and the B main change, because then it would be very CT sided. But maybe we make the B main change and we make the palace entrance change so that this angle is not as strong. We're playing from back here. All to be decided later on. Lastly, we have the change to the pillar. This is the proposed change by a lot of people. We were actually talking about the pillar after the playtest, the original one on the first map, and saying that the pillar was OP. Didn't like it. I came up with this idea. Remember, I said that it was really easy for the T's to play post plant or behind the box, but I still wanted to keep the pillar so that the CTs had something that they could fight for. Now, the idea here is that it breaks up the sight lines. As you can see, I can take this fight pretty comfortably onto this first angle, then I can take the fight onto pillar in a post plant. Now, it's not actually perfect because if I try to sneak around here, I will still get caught. And I think that that's actually fine. I do like the position of this box because if I want to retake, now if I flash myself through and I jump around the corner, or if I do like some interesting movement, just something like this, I can actually get behind this box safely. My point being, if there's an opera posted on you from this angle and you jump around, you can actually still get out because there is that cover. It's not egregiously overpowered, and it does give something that the CTs can like reliably get out and use to help. It's also a decent defensive opportunity as well. You can stand here, it'll dodge a lot of the flashes, which again, I'm not sure, maybe it might be broken, but you can still flash behind the pillar like some people and some teams are doing. Again, that works for here as well. This is a very intuitive angle. I feel like this is something that is going to get played quite a bit. And then of course, we also have some off angles. Like you can play this angle right here, which I think would be really strong for catching lurkers and just, being ready to look down. And this doesn't come without risk. This is not just an overpowered angle, because if somebody knows that you like to play there, they can sneak out behind you and get to heaven. And it's just overall, I really like this change. If there's a change that's made to Anubis, obviously we can see through, that's just a bug, it'll be fixed. If there's a change made to Anubis, I would love to see this one. I think that this would help a lot for A. And overall, I don't know. You guys will have to let me know what you guys think. As the playtesting and stuff comes out, I will post all of the raw footage here, stuff that's like not as interesting for people who are curious, but I am planning on making a long form video. I have a bunch of work going into this one. I'm really happy about it. It'll be on the main Austin CS channel. Right now you're watching the more Austin CS channel, but that would be the plan. I can give you a plan actually. I have a couple of NA teams that I'm going to give both the maps to. And I'm going to tell them to kind of prepare, maybe come up with a few like strategies, and I'm going to make them play a best of 3, one on V1, one map on V2, and then the decider will be regular Anubis. And I just want to see how all 3 of them compare. I think it'll be a really good idea. I think we could see how teams are approaching it. And obviously those aren't pro teams, but it's better than what we have. Like I don't have access to pro teams. I can't just ask them to play test. Neither do Valve. So I think that that's the best that we could work with. And then after that, I want to, put these maps into a Faceit hub and have people be able to pug them. And overall, I'm just going to keep making small tweaks as I see fit and see if we can maybe come up with the perfect solution to how to fix Anubis before the major. So that way, after the major, Valve can maybe look at a couple of the ideas that I came up with and go, you know what, we actually like this one. Let's implement it. We don't like this one. We won't do that, And by the way, I did see one comment, I want to address this one comment that I got, which is, people think that I'm very smart and that I know what I'm talking about and that I know all the answers. Well, obviously I don't. The only thing that I know is that there's something that doesn't feel good about Anubis. The general community sentiment is that Anubis is too T-sided to the point where it's getting unfun. So I'm proposing a few ideas and I want the community to start the discussion because what else are we supposed to do? I mean, if the community doesn't come together with ideas and if I'm not leading the initiative right now, who is? That's all I want to ask you. Who is leading the initiative? Nobody. And if I can help give Valve ideas, then so I don't see why that's a bad thing. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys for supporting this little side project that I've been working on. Thank you guys very, very much. And we still have a lot more that we have to do. So much love, guys, and I'll see you guys very, very soon.